So today I'm replacing the thermostat housing in my 98 Explorer. It's got the 4.0 SOHC, and anybody who's had one knows that the plastic housings are notorious for leaking, no matter how new or old they are. I put this one in last year, and it's a Motorcraft unit, and it started leaking last week. So I got maybe 5,000 miles out of it. You can see on the factory housing, it has screw-in sensors. With the new aluminum housing by Simmonsautosportz, you can tell it uses a clip-in sensor, which is fine. The plugs are the same for the clip-in and the thread-in sensors. This housing is cast aluminum, and it has it's the same inlet. I mean, you guys could compare them. Now, the clip-in sensors, here's the part number for the temp sensor, and this is the second part number for the other temp sensor that goes in this housing. I'm using OEM Motorcraft stuff. When you order from Simmonsautosportz, you have the option of getting new hardware. These are long bolts that bolt it to the intake. You also get new short bolts for the upper housing, and new clips to secure the sensors. Also included is custom gaskets for the thermostat housing, upper piece and the lower, along with new O-rings if you already have the clip-in style sensors. Along with that, he includes a new lower gasket. Let me find it. Sorry, guys. He includes the new lower gasket and the upper thermostat housing O-ring. So essentially, for $160, I get the aluminum housing plus everything I need. The only thing I had to supply myself was a thermostat. I went with an OEM 195 thermostat made by Motorrad. This one has a fail-safe that if the thermostat does fail, it fails in the open position instead of the closed. So, all in all, to me, construction seems really well made. You can see it is identical. And then, like I said, the only difference being, besides the fact that it's aluminum, is the sensors. You can see how the new clip-in style goes. I'll go ahead and get those put in, and I will show you how they sit, and I will let you know how they fit. Here's the sensors installed. Pay attention to the orientation of the sensors. If you put these clips up front, it'll make install a heck of a lot easier. You can see the clips that hold them in. So far, really happy with the craftsmanship of this product. And here's the inside. Here is the thermostat housing in my truck. Simmonsautosportz supplies the gaskets, and they say you don't need to use RTV, but I am a stickler for using some type of RTV or sealant. Personally, I use gasket cinch. It works as a glue too to hold the gasket in place, and it only takes 5 minutes of dry time versus RTV's 24 hours. Once you get to this point, you're going to take your thermostat. Let me open this up. New OEM style thermostat. Well, OEM temperature anyways. Like I said, this is made by Motorrad. It's got a fail-safe, so if it goes bad, it gets stuck open versus being stuck closed. So you just drop that in there. And then supplied with the housing is a new O-ring and some new housing bolts. Okay, so the thermostat is in. The O-ring sits on top of the thermostat, and then you take your housing and your new gasket. Like I said, I use a little bit of gasket cinch. It glues it in, see, so you don't have to worry about falling. And it has a dry time of about 5 to 10 minutes. So as we assemble the rest of the truck, this is cured and ready to go. So let's see if I can set this up temporarily. Might not cooperate, guys. If you guys fall, I apologize. So I remove the cable. Just set the housing down. It sits nice and tight. We take the new supplied hardware. And like I said, this isn't a tutorial. I've got more stuff removed than what needs to be technically to do this. But I want to give you guys a clear shot of what I'm working with and what Simmonsautosportz supplies with their parts. So you get this sitting in there and you start your bolts. Like I said, guys, I had a feeling y'all might fall. So essentially this is how the housing's going to sit. Okay, all hoses are connected. Sensors are plugged in. I'll get the throttle body back in after this video. Simmonsautosportz.com. I highly recommend this versus the plastic housing once again. Time will tell how the quality is, or how long the duration is, I should say, this will last. It's supposed to be the best aluminum housing in the market from what I've read do reviews. There are cheaper eBay versions, but I've heard people have had problems with them leaking. And hope you guys like my review. Simmonsautosportz ends with a Z, by the way, if you want to look them up online. The housing retails for $135 just for the housing. If you get the new upper and the new lower bolts and the new temp sensor clips, they sell it for $160. All in all, with the thermostat housing, the thermostat, the new sensors, and some coolant, I'm into it for a little over $200. But this should last significantly longer than the last plastic housing. And if you compare $60 to $80 for a plastic housing and keep replacing it, you'll eventually get to what the cost of one of these is. Might as well put something in that'll last the longevity of the truck, if not longer. So thank you for watching, and have a good day.